it's gonna kill some. Like
Hello
he's gonna
folks,
either
this is
target
Sula
me,
speaking, and welcome to another
Anivia, or
commentary
Tristana,
video
and hit
on
you
League
for
of
like
Legends, this one
800
featuring
damage, and there's no
Karthus.
way to block it other than just
Here I'm
damage
playing
will
in a
kill you.
pre-made team with a full 4 other people that I know. I'm also playing with
And it
Mookie,
does, but it
who's
does
playing as
2
Sona,
damage, so
with
there's
Sunrise,
no
who's
way to
playing as a
negate it.
Mumu,
It's just
with
that's the
Mostly
damage it
Harmless, who's
does.
playing as Tristana, and with Donsky, who's playing as Ashe. In terms of how our
But
levels
other
are
than
set
that,
up,
he's pretty much just
Mookie is level
there.
30, and so he has the most experience with this game. I would then be second. I've now reached level 24
Yeah.
at this game. Mostly Harmless and Donsky are both right around level 20. Don't know their exact ones off the top of my head, but they've also played a good number of games by now, so they've gotten some experience. They're not just raw newcomers. And then Sunrise has played the least games out of any of us. I believe that was level 11 when this game was played, so he has the least amount of experience out of any of us. Okay, so just to give you a little bit of a sense of where we were, where our characters are, and that sort of thing. I'm sorry that I haven't done any
Yeah.
games recently, haven't cast any
Even if you
games
snipe the
recently
people
for
on
League of
top.
Legends. Part of the reason for that has been I've been very busy playing Civilization
If you
5,
go on the
which just came
bottom
out.
here,
I
you always want to
actually
have 2
write a
by
lot of
the
reports
dragon,
about
so that way you guys
Civilization
can get
games
the
on my website, which is
50
linked in some of the
dragon
videos
whenever
that
it
I have. I
drops.
think it's on my profile. And that's been taking up a lot of my time recently. The good news, if you like these League of Legends commentaries, is
Continue
that
with the
I've
dueling
been
for a
pretty
while.
dissatisfied with Civ 5 overall, which, of course, I
Hopefully
mean,
last.
that's not a good thing, but
Goodbye.
I haven't really liked a lot of the changes they've made, so I'm planning on spending a lot less time
Last
working with
Tristana lane
Civ
knows to
5, and I'll
dominate
probably be
them
spending more time playing this game
hard.
and then trying to cast more of these games as long as interesting ones come up. I'm also going to try to get some more
I mean, we
champs.
could
I
all
mean,
have like a
obviously, if you've
debuff
been
if
following
you
these, I've been
want.
playing the same champ sort of over and over again. You see a lot of Karthus videos, a lot of Annie videos, that sort of thing. Part of the reason for that is you have to keep in mind I can only play champs that I actually own. I can't just play anyone. But fortunately,
Work
I've
together,
nearly
and
got
we'll
a
just
full set
steal
of
the
runes now.
experience
I've been trying to
and make
get
sure
just
nothing
one
bad
set of
happens to
runes
you.
first before
But if
doing
you
anything
jungle with the
else.
blue buff,
And
you
now that
can
I've
have
almost
unlimited
finished that,
mana
I
for
can
like
go back and I can start buying new champs again. So hopefully I'll have some more of them in the future. In terms of this game setup, Mookie is going to take the top lane as Sona. We're going to have Mostly Harmless and Donsky down in the bottom lane. So it's sort of a rare Ashe plus Tristana double lane. And then I'm going to take the middle lane. Sunrise is going to be jungling. He has taken Smite with the Mumu. Now the problem here is that I drew the aggression of the Golem, which meant that it started chasing me, which is not what we wanted to
even
do.
if we steal some
So
of your experience.
Mookie and I came over to try and help out Sunrise get the starting Golem buff, the blue buff, for extra mana, which will make the rest of Sunrise's jungling much easier. And I screwed it up a little bit there by drawing the aggression of the Golem, but we were able to fix that. And so Sunrise was off, and Sunrise is going to be jungling for us in this game. If you haven't seen that before, why does a team take a jungler? Well, the idea being there is that by having someone just go after the minions, you can have them level up at roughly the same pace as the other people on your team. And meanwhile, by having 2 solo lanes, see, look, like Mookie is alone in the top lane, and I'll be alone here in the middle lane. And Sunrise is just picking up a little bit of extra experience before he goes on to the next group of jungle minions. By having 2 solo lanes, we'll level up faster overall as a team. And then also, because Sunrise is not in one lane, he can sort of move around and try to get kills, try to gank people, as they call it, in other lanes. So it adds some unpredictability. Now the one trade-off is that Mookie is up there in the top lane by himself, so he'll have to deal with a 2 versus 1 lane. Now the interesting thing about this game, this game had a very strange opening here right at the beginning. Mookie told me that he saw Jax going off from the top lane down here to the bottom lane, and just warned me on our TeamSpeak that Jax looked like he was down here for some reason. And indeed, if you just saw him a minute ago, like, look, there he is. He's poking his head out again. I can just see from this, it looks like Jax is going to try to jump on me, and then they're going to try to get a kill. That's a really weird play to do. Like, right at the start of the game, you will see that occasionally, but it's a very strange play to do that, because the whole time Jax is down here, he's not getting experience. Now I'm going to get stunned by Anivia, and then she comes in, and Jax is going to try to jump on me. They exhaust me, but I'm close enough to the tower that I have no problem getting out of this. And then Jax nearly dies. He actually comes extremely close to dying. He was down to under 100 hit points. And meanwhile, while they're doing that, Mookie is able to pounce on Pantheon and get the first kill up in the top lane. and the first blood bonus. I was going to buy something, but I actually don't have enough money to buy anything. I would have liked to have been able to buy those initial boots, but I didn't want to wait for the extra gold. So that didn't work out very well for their team. Now Jax has gotten no minion kills while he was doing that. He's gotten no experience while he was doing that. So I mean, that's sort of one of those high risk, high reward maneuvers. If you actually are able to get a kill right away in mid, you can put your team in really good shape. But fortunately, I was able to avoid that. Was able to get out of that one. And then with teleport, I can get back to the lane very quickly. The one thing that it's hurt me is you can see in a second that I'm a lower level than Anivia. I think that she's level 4. Yeah, you can see she's level 4, and I've also missed out on some of the minion kills, so I'm going to be a little bit behind her in terms of farming. But on the whole, still a good result for our team. You know, that was a play that just didn't work out for them. Alright, now anyway, in terms of what's going on here, I wanted to talk a little bit about this matchup because it's one that would be going on for a long time. I was matched up against this Anivia player here, and we would actually be confronting one another for quite some time here in the solo lane, and then again later on at other points in time throughout the game. Anivia is another casting champion, another mage basically. She's all ability power. She has a number of interesting abilities. She's actually similar to Karthus in a lot of ways, although more versatile and probably a better champion overall. If you've seen any of the videos I've done with Karthus before, Karthus's abilities include he has Lay Waste. That's the little explosion I'm putting down on the ground. It's his main spell, main damage dealing spell. He also has Defile, which is something that causes him to deal damage around him in a circle. And you'll see me using that later on. I don't want to use that yet because it takes up a lot of mana in the early game. And then Karthus can also throw down this wall, and anyone who goes through it is slowed and has their magic resistance lowered. And then his ultimate hits everybody on the map, and you can get kills from anywhere, which is one of my favorite abilities, probably my favorite ability in the game. Now, Anivia has abilities that are somewhat similar to that. Her initiating ability is the one you just saw right there. Her Q skill is called Flash Frost, and she shoots out this bolt of ice that deals damage as it travels, and then it deals damage again when it explodes, and Anivia can actually trigger that at any point in time. So you can fire it for the full length and then wait for it to explode, or she can fire it, you know, at any point in time along the path of that ice bolt. And if it hits a champion, it stuns them. See, look, I got stunned right there. Very useful skill. Doesn't do that much damage, but it slows anyone that it passes through because it ices them. And then it can stun when the little explosion goes off. So very versatile skill, very useful. Anivia's other main damage spell is something called Frostbite, and it's her follow-up spell. What it does is it's a short-range nuke. It automatically hits the target if they're within range, so it doesn't have to be aimed. Like Flash Frost is a skill shot. Her Frostbite skill doesn't need to be aimed, but it has a much shorter range. What it does is it just deals damage to the target, but the trick is that it deals double damage if the target has been frozen, or chilled, I guess you should say. So if Anivia's goal usually will be to chill you first with her Flash Frost and then follow it up with a Frostbite. And if you've been chilled, it does a lot of damage, does very heavy damage. So it's a difficult skill to use because of the slow range. So like right there, I've been stunned, and oftentimes Anivia will slip in and try to follow that up with a Flash Frost, or Frostbite, excuse me, Frostbite skill. Then her ultimate is not really an ultimate per se, it's more like just having a fourth skill. It's called Glacial Storm, and Anivia can put it down on the map, and it deals damage to anyone in range. It slows the target, chills them, and then also deals damage over time. In fact, it's very similar to Karthus's Defile skill. It functions almost exactly the same way, but there it is. There's her Glacial Storm right there. And you can see it freezing all the minions. It's better than Karthus's Defile skill, though, because she can use it at range. She doesn't, Defile just works around Karthus, whereas Anivia can place it at range. And then, of course, it also slows the target by freezing them. So it's a more versatile skill. And then also, her final skill is she has a wall that she can put down. Again, very much like Karthus, a wall of ice. It doesn't slow the target. It just blocks anyone from running through it. So she can throw down these walls, often like the jungle, and just completely block people from walking. It's a very good skill. Especially if you get additional points in it. But, just like Karthus' wall, it's probably something you're going to max out last. So a lot of her skills are kind of similar to the ones that Karthus used. But Anivia is probably a better champ. I mean, let's be honest, Karthus is not seen as sort of a top-tier champion, much as I love playing him. Anivia, though, really good champ. I've tried to play her every time that she's free, whenever there's a week that she's free, or if there's a free champion weekend, like there was one relatively recently as I cast this. I always try to play her, but I honestly think that Anivia is the most difficult champion to play in the entire game. I am garbage with Anivia. I cannot play her effectively, and I've tried on about 5 or 6 different occasions, and it's just not working for me, unfortunately. So Anivia, I really want to be good at using you, but just can't seem to get it to work out. So maybe someday, but I'm probably not going to spend the money to buy Anivia at this point in time. So like I said, I'd love to use her. She's a great caster. She's one of the best casters in the game, probably between her and Annie, at least in terms of how the game's set up right now, but just not good enough to use her. And there you see me doing a very excuse me, a very, very poor job of farming. Now I got a request to use my ultimate, and I get a kill on Pantheon, and then I get the assist up there on Jax. But then I look up in the top right corner, and I see that I have 2 kills. And I was like, wait a minute, I know I got a kill and an assist. Where did the other kill come from? And then Donsky tells me that there was somebody low in the bottom lane. So I actually killed Vigar as well. And I actually ended up getting 2 kills and an assist, so out of using that ultimate. So I was like, wow, that's really good. Unfortunately, though, we had mostly Harmless just get killed in the bottom lane, so they're not going to be able to push that lane. And there you can see Anivia just destroying my own minions there with the use of her Glacial Storm. Of course, the downside to using Glacial Storm is it eats mana like no tomorrow. Again, very similar to Karthus' Defile skill, so very, very mana-intensive skill. Just like Karthus, Anivia really probably needs the blue buff, the Golem buff, to be effective. Otherwise, she runs out of mana very, very quickly. She also is pretty weak until level 6 when she gets Glacial Storm, but you can see she, now that she's got Glacial Storm, she can just push my lane like it's nothing. I was going to go down there to cover the bottom lane, but Anivia was just pushing too hard, and I could not leave the middle lane. And see there, she's going to use Frostbite, what is it? Flash Frost, a Frostbite combo. Those 2 names sound way too similar. And if you saw, it did quite a bit of damage when I got hit by the Frostbite, the second half of that, because I had been chilled already. But Anivia had to walk into the tower's range in order to hit me with it, so she took damage as well, and that was a pretty even exchange. Now I can see what she's going to do. She's going to come in and try to stun me, so I'm going to throw down my wall, and then I would have fought her here, but Pantheon came in, and so Anivia throws down her wall too. But I'm able to pop off Ghost, and I'm able to escape into the jungle. So that was a narrow escape for me. Another attempted kill by these guys, but I managed to get out of it. Overall, this was a very solid Anivia player. This is one of the better players I've seen. Oftentimes, you'll see Anivia, especially on like a free champion weekend. Anivia will be free, and someone will try to play her. And like me, when I try to play Anivia, they'll just be kind of garbage. So that was not the case. This is a very, very good, very solid at least, if not good, Anivia player. And was matching me, sort of stride for stride here. Okay, you can see pretty even stats in terms of farming. I'm keeping pace with Anivia. We're both level 10. We've both got just about 60 minion kills. So no advantage either way thus far between the 2 of us. Very, very even thus far. Neither one of us have had much success pushing the other person's tower. So with Anivia over there, I'm going to take advantage of this to go and try to pick up the Golem buff. While I'm over here, and Sunrise was in the area, so he happened to help me. And there, I probably should not have initiated on the Golem until I was next to it, because you saw how that damage just regenerated very easily as soon as the Golem walked away. And actually, Sunrise, if you're watching this, you actually walked away a little bit too soon. What you want to do if you're helping someone get a buff is you want to just sort of walk back and forth in place next to it, because when you clear out like that, the Golem will start to heal. So just a little minor tip for you. Now that I have the Golem buff, I have almost infinite mana. Not completely, but not too far off. So I'll be able to spam Defile, and that'll give me a big advantage. So that means that I'll be able to push this lane forward in the meantime, and Anivia is going to have to play more defensively, because just like with her Glacial Storm, I can now turn on Defile, and that will just sort of melt through these minions very easily. And I got another request to use Requiem to see if it would get a kill, and yep, indeed it did. So that wasn't me watching the map. That was a good call from one of my teammates. They were going against Pantheon. And then Anivia comes too far forward, so I'm going to try to punish her. She hits me with her combination, but I'm going to follow it up with my spells. She's in my Defile, and then I managed to kill her. But Anivia has a passive whereby if she dies, she turns into an egg, and then she will be reborn 6 seconds later. So it's actually probably the best passive in the entire game. So even though I'm able to kill Anivia, I am not able to kill her egg, and so Anivia ends up surviving. And in fact, if you ever are playing Anivia, whenever you have your egg up, you should play very aggressively. Okay, so we've come to the end of this video. Thanks for watching, and check back soon for part 2.